This is Misbah here, Misbah Shah, your host today, director at iCharts, and here I am today to present the first episode of the webinar series, Psych Talks with Psychologists. So I'm going to give you a brief introduction on our organization. We focus on helping psychologists, coaches, trainers develop advanced coaching and therapeutic skills. And I'm happy and proud to launch the Psych Talks for Psychologists, a webinar series, as we've received a tremendous, amazing response for the True Talks and True Talk series for therapists earlier. And I'm hoping that we get a similar or a better response for Psych Talks as well. And in this series, we are going to invite experts of individual approaches to therapies. I'm going to introduce to you our today's guest. She is Adya Pujari. She's a clinical psychologist and a hypnotherapist. I'm going to introduce her. She's been practicing with various concerns about mental health, relationship counseling, anxiety and stress management, childhood trauma, child sex, sexual abuse, examination stress, to name a few. She has been trained in various other fields of mental health and aims to using all these approaches depending on the symptoms of the client as well as the needs. She has also been awarded the Rex Karamveer Global Fellow and Karamveer Chakra Award for Excellence in Social Work. She has also been conducting 21 days program on mindfulness. And yes, our today's topic is mindfulness. So if I had to just give you one-liner on mindfulness, mindfulness is an ability to be mindful, being in the present moment without being judgmental or and not being anxious about the future or being troubled about the past. And since we already have the expert in-house, I'm going to go and ask ahead, Adya, to put light on what is mindfulness.
Hi, Misbah. I'm really thankful to you for such a beautiful introduction. And thank you, everybody, for watching and taking time out to watch me speak over here. So, mindfulness, like put, is the ability for one to be self aware. So, to define it simply, I'll break it down into three components. First is the attention. So, by attention, when we say to be able to be in the present moment, have your attention in the present moment. What happens is in our everyday lives, even right now, maybe while you're watching this, you probably would be focusing on other things. So जो लोग फोन पे बैठ के देख रहे होंगे वो अपने messages पे या साइड में लैपटॉप है उस पे कुछ चल रहा होता है या घर पे कुछ और चल रहा है. That is what happens. We forget to be in the present. Second of all is the intention. So when we practice mindfulness, as mindfulness is a practice, it's not just a therapy. So as to say, it is more of a practice that the person imbibes. So the intention, what do you want to gain? So all of us have some or the other goals that we want to achieve, or something that we want to overcome in our lives. Let's say a fear, or a lot of people have this tending fear that we will end up alone. For example, a lot of us have this fear that हमें तो कोई मिलेगा ही नहीं या बहुत अब हमारी उम्र हो गई है. तो this companionship, at that point of time, a lot of people want to overcome that. So that's the intention. The third thing is the attitude that we need to adopt. So the attitude would be to be self-aware and be non-judgmental. So live in the moment with your current goal in mind, in the present, without having any judgments of how the future is going to be or how the past was. So in short, that's what mindfulness would be. And of course, yes.
Sure. Please go. Carry on.
Right. So mindfulness involves basically around these principles. And as we all know, mindfulness is not a new technique, which a lot of people have this misconception. So that it's a new technique or it's some new fad which is going on. But to be honest, it's going on it's been there ever since. So ever since the Buddhist monasteries were there, and it's an ancient technique. It was only reintroduced by John Kabat-Zinn in the 1970s. So, because he wanted to modernize it in a way wherein everybody could use it in practice as the modern day-to-day life requires. So that was the idea.
Oh, lovely. A very beautifully explained, the concept of mindfulness by Adya. And Adya, before I go ahead, I'm going to say hi and hello to everybody who's watching the live. And also, I'm going to ask them that if they have any kind of questions, they can post those questions in the comment box, and we make sure that we answer all of them. Right? And also, you can have a watch party on Facebook Live so that other people, your friends and family, can also benefit out of this series, this session, and hear on whatever sessions that we go ahead. So, Adya, if I had to ask you, so if you very nicely explained us what is mindfulness. So, I would like you to tell us how can you apply it? What would be the application of mindfulness in one's life?
So, to be honest, like I said, mindfulness is something that you can apply to in your day-to-day life. So it's not something that, only when you are focusing on one goal that you want to achieve. It's something that you need to continuously practice as well. So let's say, I mean, it can be applied in any setting, to be very honest, along with any kind of therapeutic intervention as well. So let's take an example of a person who feels conscious while going on stage. Right. So usually the what are the thoughts that come to the person? They are not quite self-aware of what is um, makes us feel that way, right? So at that point of
Right.
time, we can use a few breath techniques with them by making them conscious. So first of all, we will ask them to, close their eyes and imagine that, feel their breath. It's called a body scan. That's one of the techniques of mindfulness. I'll talk about it in more detail later on. But so they focus on their entire body and how they can feel their breath. Once they do that, they're more aware of all the senses. So at that point of time, a lot of people who have these anxiety issues tend to, it comes to the surface level that abhi mujhse ho nahi raha hai, for example. They will say something like that, or they'll say मेरे को बहुत distraction हो रहा है, thoughts नहीं जा रहे. Have this thing in mind कि मुझे meditate करना है या मुझे focus रहना है. So same thing happens to them while they go on stage,
I'm sure a lot of people will
right?
be able to
So they
resonate
tend
with
to
what you're
feel
saying.
this way.
Am I audible?
Right. Yes, you are.
So I was just saying, Adya, that what you said about people getting nervous and kind of anxiety during certain situations, I'm sure a lot of people will be resonating with this kind of behavior
Mm-hmm.
while doing it for the first time, or maybe at times that you're doing it same thing at a multiple times you're doing something, but then when you're starting it, there's a kind of anxiety or a nervousness that you face.
Yes,
And the kind of
absolutely.
techniques that you indicated, like body scan, I'm sure that helps to bring down that nervousness or that anxiety and go ahead and work with it.
Right. And absolutely. And in fact, I mean, the applications of mindfulness is vast. So you can use it with stress, you can use it making a person resilient. Like, what is resilience? It's the ability for us to bounce back, right? From
Right.
anything that we want to overcome. So that you can even use it for a lot of fear. Fear is one of the examples. Some people fear being in relationships, continuing relationships due to past trauma. And then other than that, building better relationships, having better communication, being able to concentrate better, having a few virtues. So one of the main key concepts of mindfulness, it comes from the fact that in our lives we tend to face a lot of situations where we need to give up on our virtues. So there are many virtues, right? Like being kind, being grateful, and many others like that. So at that point of time, we tend to give up on that. So mindfulness also incorporates the ability for a person to be able to use those virtues of, let's say, being honest. That's very difficult for us because, in our everyday lives, what happens is that we tend to escape from a lot of things, right? We tend to use a few small white lies here and there very casually, and normally nobody even feels so bad about it. But the ability for us to not do that is, very tough, so as to say. So when a person tries to practice mindfulness, maybe I would not say 100% they'll stop doing that, but of course it reduces to a major level. And I'd like to share a case with you. It just came to my
Definitely.
mind about the application when you said. I had just recently started a new session of my workshop, which was going on, and there was this girl, and it's just been 4 days that we've carried on in the So she said that मुझे रात को ना नींद नहीं आती थी, and अभी 4 दिन से मैं रात को ही कर रही हूँ because मुझे time तब मिला. So she said I have this since I was a teenager. तो तब से मेरे को ये चीजें होती हैं, and I could finally sleep properly because while you're practicing it and focusing on the body, somehow it makes you tired, right? So even though she's not in the complete practice, she feels relaxed and then she can go to sleep. Whereas every day she would just be on her phone or thinking about the problematic situations or something or the other. So that's another thing that, it helps you with insomnia and all of those
Okay.
things, definitely.
Oh, that's really nice. Uh, so if we had to if I had to ask you, Adya, as we are focusing, our series is focusing on helping or the other psychologists benefiting out of these series, for, as we're calling the expert in psychology, psychology people.
Mhm.
So, if as a psychologist one had to practice mindfulness while working with the clients, how would you go about it?
Right. So, like we have now understood what the applications are, like I said, you can apply it with any kind of therapy or any kind of problem that you have. But let's say the conventional therapies that we have. So, most of us would be psychologists or counselors right now. And some of us would be life coaches or NLP practitioners or even hypnotherapists. So, so simply put, we can use mindfulness as a therapy itself for people who don't have major issues. Let's say किसी को stress है. Now you need to see what level of stress that person is going through. Though the founder who's made MBCT, which is mindfulness based cognitive therapy, and MBSR, which is again for stress reduction, so as to say it's very easy to say that ye ho jayega, but then again it's quite time consuming. So for a person who's coming to you for therapy, it's not exactly very practical for us to say कि इसको आप 2-4 महीने आराम से whatever they need to imbibe that practice of being mindful and all that. It takes a lot of time. So as therapists, it becomes very difficult for us to do that. But you can definitely combine those things and first see that what is the level that the client is at. That's the first step. Second step would be to combine a therapy. So for example, a person comes to you for let's say a phobia. So we all know that for phobias or something, you need to first do a systematic desensitization. So while you're doing that therapy, you can combine mindfulness. So what I personally believe is for people who come for self growth or self development, mindfulness works very beautifully with them. But if you're talking about fears and phobias, people who are going through job stress, people with multiple issues that come to you, you can use mindfulness as an additional technique, which is for their self improvement. So instead of them using mindfulness as a main technique, you can use it as an addition. And at that point of time, you can use a lot of breath work with them, a lot of self introspection. So while we say, let's say DBT. So DBT is dialectical behavior therapy, which again focuses on self introspection. And then you can use it with ACT, which is commitment therapy, which is, we call it awareness commitment therapy. So, I mean, even with CBT, you can use it. So, I would like to tell you what the basic difference between MBCT and CBT is. So, in MBCT, which is mindfulness based cognitive therapy, we say, I'm having a thought. Whereas in
Hmm.
CBT, you're just focusing on I am. Then in MBCT, you would say, I'm noticing my thoughts. Whereas in CBT, you answer back. You don't reflect upon what you are doing as a person. In MBCT, again, you focus on the thoughts process. The process, कि मेरा जो chain है link of thoughts वो क्या है. Whereas in CBT, we focus on the content of the thoughts and so on. So, you can just combine these things with that to know where exactly the client's needs are and focus on that. Then acceptance commitment therapy, like I said, ACT, even over there, you can mix a few strategies from mindfulness intervention to make the client aware and accept whatever issues they're facing. Again, self introspection, you could say. So these are a few things that I use personally when I use mindfulness. Also, there are other therapies like mode deactivation therapies, which are not so common. Mostly we use CBT. So that's why I told you the difference in that. So I think
Yeah,
these would be the best to use.
yeah, right. I'm sure that's going to that will I'm sure that is going to help to people who are actually watching us right now. To so, any kind of challenges that you have faced with respect to mindfulness as a practitioner?
Yes. So as a practitioner, I think all of us have gone through our own work job environments that we tend to, after looking at the first few set of clients, we all feel very tired, which is normal because during our any normal person who goes to work, we do work for a few hours and we tend to feel tired. So at that point of time, a very good technique that I felt is keeping in mind that this is again a mindfulness technique that is very prevalent. So what the person does is, मान लो आपने काफी सारे clients को देख लिया और अब
Hmm.
I'm feeling stressed and I'm going to the door to welcome another client. So before you do that,
Hmm.
stand straight and bend down and touch your feet, and then touch the ground. Once you do that, what happens is that you feel back, you feel grounded. So there is this something called grounding techniques in mindfulness. So it's like
Hmm.
touch any of the elements. So be aware. So काफी लोग breath work करेंगे आंख बंद करके, they'll focus on their breath. That is one thing.
Hmm.
Another thing is, आप nature walk ले लिया आपने, mindfulness walking जिसे हम कहते हैं, be aware of your surroundings, take in the thing. So that is one of the few things that a practitioner can do to calm themselves down while they're practicing that, to bring them back to themselves. But then the challenges that come with practicing mindfulness is that it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of consistency to do with the client, because the client is not aware that this is something. I mean, they know their problem, but if somebody who's very stressed or anxious comes to you, especially during COVID right now, right? I
I'm
have
sure.
had a lot of clients. Yeah, a lot of clients come in and they would be like, I am in panic. मुझे तो पता है मुझे. A lot of people say, I need to go back home. Before I don't go back home, I'm gonna feel anxious. So to tell them कि नहीं आप mindfulness करो, आंखें बंद करके breathing पे ध्यान दो, so that makes it very tough for them. So you can't apply that directly on them. So first you need to do some kind of relaxation therapy. Again, like I said, you need to focus on other therapies also that you can combine to use mindfulness. You can use JPMR techniques. JPMR is a relaxation technique. First relax them so that they can, let go of all that tension. Then once they're in that relaxed mode, you can use the body scan or the breath technique when they're focusing on the other issues. Once they're in that mode, you can do self introspection work with them. So via mindfulness, you can tell them that ऐसा हो रहा है, आप अपने अच्छा, if you're feeling this way, what is making you feel this way, and what can you do in this situation, what is better, some things that some questions that they can self introspect, if and it make them accept that yes, they are in this situation and there is no way out. Once they know that, then only can they focus on the solution. Another issue that comes with practicing mindfulness is that uh, a lot of clients would need to meditate, right? A lot of mindfulness techniques
Yes.
involve meditation. So while they try to meditate, what happens is that it's not meant for everybody. Not every client is going to feel comfortable meditating. Maybe they do it with you in your sessions. जो आप उनको homework दोगे, maybe they are not that comfortable or committed to that.
Right.
And thirdly would be they sense a lot of physical and mental issues while they are practicing a lot of meditation, because our
Can
body
you?
is not
I'm
used
I'm
to
I'm going to
the
stop you here.
so while we meditate
Uh,
we take deep breaths.
Adya, I'm going to stop you here when you say physical and mental issues that people go through. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Right. Absolutely. So when I say physical mental issues would be, so when we meditate, usually in our daily lives we tend to breathe normally, right? We are not even aware of our breath, but while we meditate, what happens is that we take a lot of deep breaths, right? We'll
Right.
inhale, we'll feel that, and while we exhale, we feel that. So we are oxygenating our body a lot, right? Which does not happen in our everyday life. So the blood flow is a lot, our body is rejuvenated. So it tends to cause a lot of neurological changes, and it also causes a lot of distress to a lot of people. So people, like I was telling you the example of this girl who could sleep properly at night, but then other people who were attending my workshops, a lot of them had a lot of, so one girl had migraine. So उसकी प्रॉब्लम थोड़ी और इंक्रीज हो गई, बिकॉज यूजुअली हर दिन वो कुछ ना कुछ करती रहती है, तो उसका माइंड उसके माइग्रेन पे उतना जाता नहीं है. But now because she is meditating, that is coming to the surface level. Same ways for
Right.
a lot of people, stress would come to their surface level. So dizziness, and anybody who meditates, it's very common to feel the dizziness or some kind of headache, because again, flow increase your more oxygen than it usually gets. So these are a few mild things that a person goes through, but it goes away in, like, let's say 30 minutes, half an hour, or as soon as you take a nap. The next day you're fine. It's not so severe, but maybe it happens for a few sessions. And in very rare cases, let's say if you have a person who has psychosis, or a person who anyways has a lot of issues, for them maybe for them, it might create a lot of false memories, because you, while practicing mindfulness, we take them back. Like even with hypnosis, you can understand this example better. When we take them back again and again, back to the same memory, it might tend to create a new memory for them. So this would probably be one of the limitations that they have. But because it's a guided session with a therapist who is there, I don't think it would ever memory for them. It would always become a positive memory because it's a guided thing, right?
Okay.
So that would be pretty much the limitations of that.
So that would be a challenge, because I was just going to come to the next point of limitations.
The challenge.
That one. Hello.
Right. So I would say the limitation and the challenges are quite similar, so as to say that,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it's time consuming. So from a therapist, say that it's a limitation or a challenge is going to be that it's time consuming for us as a therapist. But for the client, like I said, the commitment and the consistency and the understanding that they need to have as to why do I need to do this. So that would be one thing, to understand that, then to psychoeducate them as to why are we doing the mindfulness. So at that point of time, I tell them to imagine what their goal is. Once you make them committed about what their goal is and is this what they want to achieve, then the limitation part of it kind of goes away. Then it's just, you could say, like a challenge for them. It's not a limitation, because for a lot of people, uh, it would be limiting. So let's say if I have people who are going through, let's say, a schizophrenic client or a client who does not have any insight, with them you, because they don't know what they're doing it for, they don't know why they are doing it for. So that insight building with mindfulness, you cannot do that with them at all. With people
Right.
like that, it's very tough. Or let's say kids who are on the spectrum, some of them would be able to do that because they understand the meaning and everything, but a lot of them would not. Like a child with Asperger's, because they have high intelligence, they would be able to do that. And a lot of children, we do mindfulness with a lot of children, it works with them, like making mandalas. So you need to
Mm-hmm.
find what are the different techniques, because most people focus on meditation. So we need to broaden our horizon and try to do different things depending on the client's need.
Right. So I think you've already earlier mentioned regarding practicing mindfulness with other modalities or therapies. So if you could just,
Absolutely.
you have also given me examples of earlier. If there are any other examples or therapies that you think that mindfulness can be worked together, is that you can shed light on?
Sure, like I said, I think any therapy would work well. So NLP could be one thing. I would even say that CBT is one of the major things, because CBT helps
Right.
us with a lot of major disorders. So that is one thing. So while you're doing CBT, so let me think of an example. Um, so I have this client who comes to me because he has gone through a lot of childhood trauma, right? And also he is somebody who told me that he had practiced meditation for about 2 years. So my first question was, what kind of meditation did you practice? Now this
Okay.
client also has a lot of personality issues that I could sense. He does not feel that is a problem, but me as a therapist, I can sense that, because one side he keeps on telling me that I'm a very confident person, I'm over all my issues. But if that was the case, then he would not have come for therapy. Correct. So then he says, no, my only problem is कि मेरा breakup हुआ था, तो मैं I can't focus my attention away from that. It keeps on coming to
Mhm.
me, and sometimes I get so stressed that I have a lot of psychosomatic issues.
Mhm.
So I was like, अगर आपने 1-2 साल meditation करा है, then why can you not overcome that? So what I did with him was I used CBT. I used somewhat of systematic desensitization also, because he had a lot of phobias. Okay, so he had a phobia that I can't stand up in front of the stage with anybody. I cannot do this. And ye dheere dheere in sessions it came up. So while you're doing CBT, एक तरफ से he's getting the sense. While doing CBT, what do? We change the thought patterns. So one side where
Mhm.
he was saying कि मुझे तो problem है ही नहीं, मेरे को तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. He was stuck onto that. कि नहीं, I'm fine now. So CBT was doing that for me. While mindfulness was creating a awareness in his conscious mind and subconscious mind. कि हाँ, I am self-aware that these are the problems that I have. कि yes, I am phobic. Yes, I am not over my breakup. एंड ऑल्सो वट माइंडफुलनेस डिड वॉज कीप हिम इन द प्रेजेंट कि मुझे जजमेंटल नहीं होना है कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे अगर वो एक्सेप्ट क्यों नहीं कर रहा था बिकॉज ही वॉज फियरिंग इफ आई एक्सेप्टेड देन अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल वुड ऑल्सो जज मी my friends would start
Right.
saying this so he was comfortable accepting his problems so that's where mindfulness could be used now I would give you another example so jab hum
Sure.
acceptance commitment therapy kar rahe the with let's say a relationship ka issue so a couple who comes in with them what happens is that couples mein mostly what happens is that one is blaming the other most of the times
Yeah.
this is very
Most of the
common.
time.
Yes, because we feel that we should have the upper hand. We tend to forget that it's about two people working together and making the relationship work. That's the ultimate goal. So with them, when you work with the acceptance and commitment therapy, that okay, you are over here and you are in the present. So at that point of time, also mindfulness helps a lot. Then even with children who have autism or children have who are hyperactive. So आप ADHD के क्लाइंट्स का जैसे आप अपना कन्वेंशनल थेरेपी कर रहे हैं तो उसके अलावा you can again use mindfulness techniques like the breath work you can teach them some grounding techniques so बच्चों के लिए these are very easy if you teach them from a younger age it's very easy for them because they'll take it as an activity कि ठीक है आंखें बंद
Right.
कर लो अब आप इमेजिन करो कि what is your happiest memory तो उधर से they'll be interested कि हाँ happiest memory or maybe their favorite food then you ask them to imagine कि oh it's an ice cream so it's a chocolate ice cream so okay imagine that it's dripping and it's a hot summer day and you're getting an ice cream so they'll just start engaging in that and imagine that so it helps with them and then you can after a few days you can start bringing in the breath work with them so they can do that another great technique that I keep mentioning is grounding techniques why because it helps all of us tend to get flustered during the day children get to forget a lot of things so at that point of time we can use grounding techniques now this could be different things so for children maybe it could be that okay fine today then hold your best friend's hand 3 बार आप हाथ पकड़ो and every time you do that take a deep breath so it will just calm
Hmm.
them down for us maybe it could be when you're angry with your partner or something okay fine just go and hug them so 3 times you hug them and 3 times you're taking up the mind उस चीज से divert okay you're focusing on something else so these are a
Right.
few things that you can do
Adya, I think there is one question that Veera has asked. He's asked that what would be the age group when mindfulness can be practiced or started?
okay so to be honest I mean I usually do it with children who are 8 to 10 years of age and then it can go above that any age is not
Right.
a factor uh but if you really see the Buddhist ideology they start as early as you could say 3 or 4 as well
Yes.
because I mean it's something that they're teaching they're trying to imbibe them since they're a child so जैसे ही वो पैदा होते हैं उसके बाद वो देख ही रहे हैं कि घर में ये सब हो रहा है या मेरे आसपास ऐसे हो रहा है so there is no age as such you can give to meditation because unlike what we believe or what probably even I believed as a child was meditation बहुत boring सा होता है बस आंख बंद करके कुछ नहीं सोचना and we forget the fact that meditation is not just about that it's about being aware and focusing on our inner thoughts. So, I mean, age as such would not be a problem, I think.
Okay. Fair. So, are there any interesting case study? So, you've definitely shared lots of case studies. So, is there anything else wherein you've used mindfulness to the fullest, or you've got really great results in that?
I would say personally, now I have discussed a lot of cases. I would also like to tell you personally how it helped me, or
That would be
people who
lovely.
are very close to me, or people who are very close to me, how it helped them. So, where did I get the mindfulness ka cling? Where I clinged onto it was when I was small. I used to see my grandmother going for all this yoga and meditation, and as a kid was not interested in any of that because I used to think कि ये तो कितना boring होता है बस वहाँ पे बैठना and everything. But she used to tell me a lot of stories. of people and all these yogis कि वो ऐसे करते तो I used to think अरे इससे तो concentration बढ़ जाएगा, I would become smart or something. So that was her way of introducing me to that, which is a very smart way of introducing
Smart
anybody
way,
to do
very
that,
good.
which is yes, which is also interesting, and also any kind of positive reinforcement that we get, we feel like being attached to that thing and learning those things. So that's how it came. And as she told me was growing up, she told me a lot of these me how a lot of stress because she had 3 kids, right? And my grandfather used to work, so she had a lot of stress of managing 3 kids with not much house help, and it's a lot to manage as a woman. And somewhere her self esteem was also hurt because during her time it was not like she could go to work. So somewhere or the other she used to feel that her self esteem is hurt. So practicing these techniques and doing all of this would calm her a lot. The self introspection told her that okay, fine, whatever I have, I need to be happy in that, because it's not like I am asking for money. It's not like I need to ask need help for managing my children. My children are healthy. A lot of people have children who are very spiteful. She didn't have that. So that was one thing. Then again, coming back to myself, I feel that practicing all of this, I was a very, you could say, person whose mind is very easily distracted. सो ग्रोइंग अप ऑल्सो आई वाज वेरी एक्टिव. मतलब जैसे कहते हैं ना, बच्चे जो एक जगह नहीं बैठते, उनको कुछ ना कुछ करना होता है. हर समय कुछ ना कुछ इज गोइंग ऑन थ्रू देयर माइंड. Always my thoughts were jumbled up and something or the other is going rushing in my mind. So
I can totally
while
relate to that.
right, so because we all have a habit कि अभी ये करे तो नेक्स्ट क्या करना है, नेक्स्ट क्या करना है.
कुछ
तो
ना
वो
कुछ
सब हो रहा
करते
था.
रहना है.
हाँ, डेफिनेटली, बिकॉज़ अभी ये नहीं कर रहे तो लेट मी गो एंड प्ले. अच्छा, अब ये नहीं हो रहा तो लेट मी जस्ट टॉक टू समबडी, या ये काम कर लेते हैं. तो व्हाइल डूइंग माइंडफुलनेस ना, उसमें तो सबसे पहला टास्क मेरे लिए यही हो गया था कि बैठ के प्रैक्टिस कैसे करना है. मतलब वो शांति से बैठना ना वाज़ द फर्स्ट आई थिंक ऑब्स्टिकल. सो कमिंग बैक टू माइंडफुलनेस का थिंग, ऑब्स्टिकल्स भी बहुत सारे होते हैं माइंडफुलनेस में. जैसे हम कहते हैं कि गोल सेट करना इज़ एन ऑब्स्टिकल. तो वो मेरे लिए था कि अरे इतनी सारी चीज़ें अचीव करनी है, एक गोल क्या करूँ मैं? फिर सेकंड थिंग वाज कि क्लियरिंग आउट योर माइंड फ्रॉम अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स की कियोस है, तो कियोस को कैसे मैनेज करूं. फिर डाउट्स होते हैं बहुत सारे. फिर अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स, लाइक आई सेड, इमोशंस कम टू द सर्फेस लेवल. देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ पेन इन द बॉडी. सो व्हेन यू आस्क मी कि चैलेंजेस क्या होते हैं, आई थिंक दिस वुड बी वन ऑफ द थिंग्स कि हाइपर एक्टिव माइंड होता है आपका, डिस्ट्रैक्शंस बहुत सारे हो जाते हैं, एंड एक्सटर्नल भी इंटरनल भी, तो इमोशंस भी आते हैं सर्फेस लेवल पे. And of course, self-awareness bhi is another technique that we need to do. So all of these were, in my case, prevalent for me, and I had to overcome all of these. And ये मुझे realize बहुत बाद में हो, when I started working with clients कि oh, ये तो मुझे भी होता था. That's when I related it. But for me, this happened, and it was life changing also for me, because uh, I would get angry very soon. तो मेरे को टेम्पर भी मैनेज करने के लिए it helped me, because there were a lot of emotions which were suppressed. So self esteem issues जैसे बहुत common होता है, we don't realize it, but we tend to go for a lot of social validation also. So when that came to
True.
the surface level, I could manage that pretty well. So the anger automatically subsided. कि जब self esteem issue ठीक हो गया, जब समझ आ गया कि present में रहना है, तो again the emotions which were about the past and the future, जो anxiety होती है, वो भी चला गया. So I think that's how it helped me to focus on other things, and actually I could focus on a lot of better things for myself and grow as a person mainly.
Lovely. So, if you had to say, in what kind of cases would you particularly use mindfulness? Do you have any
Mm,
examples to share on those?
right. So I said, of course, keeping in mind the degree that the person is going, and if you talk specifically about only mindfulness techniques that we'll use, I think with children who are hyperactive, to reduce that. Then for people who don't take any kind of interest in anything, so you could say a lot of people who are depressed or are in a continuous sad mood, for them you could use it. And people with stress, with anxiety, people with relationship issues, people with who've had trauma, you could use it with them. Like I said, fear and phobias, again, this really does help. Then a lot of people who have issues with the empathy, building respect,
Mhm.
respecting others. all of that. Mindfulness would definitely help, because like I said, one of the key components of mindfulness is having and building virtues. So these would really help those people. And again, people who are emotionally or physically going through any kind of trauma. So physical pain भी जो होता है काफी बार psychosomatic होता है काफी लोगों के लिए, कि एक बार चोट
Mhm.
लगी थी. So like my father has this pain in his foot which has been constant, and he got hurt long back, but still कभी कभार उनको at a particular
Mhm.
time जब वो चोट लगी, I don't remember now when he got hurt, but it's still there. Because कहीं ना कहीं when he got hurt ना, he had this thought in his mind कि यार अब ये लग गई ना, ये तो लाइफ टाइम की इशू है, whereas he's gotten his scans and everything, it's still there. If nothing is
Mhm.
there in the scans, but in his mind it's still there. So for him to
Mhm.
overcome that, मैं उनको काफी बार बोलती हूँ कि meditate, think about it, where exactly are you facing the pain. So you have to work with those clients in that way. So any kind of physical pain which is there and there is no evidence for that, you can work with those people as well.
Nice. So, other there's one somebody's asked a question. I think it's Monica, and she's asked that apart from body scan and grounding, which other techniques can be used with children for mindfulness?
uh, okay, so there is a breath technique which we say.
Right.
The body scan is, again, so see, with mindfulness, the one good thing is you can be very creative with it. So basic हमें समझ आ गया कि 3 principles हैं कि attention चाहिए, intention चाहिए, and attitude. So इसको
Right.
लेके a therapist can make a few techniques of their own also. So
Mm-hmm.
because see, every client has their own unique problem. तो
Mm-hmm.
mindfulness में ये रहता है कि आप बहुत creatively कर सकते हो. This is a good modality. So let's say um there are many different techniques, so as to say, but mainly ये 3 category में आ जाती है. एक तो breath work में, then self introspection में. So you can make them have a lot of lists. So children के साथ जैसे अगर उनको आप drawing की modality से कर सकते हो, mandala art like I said. So you can teach them how to draw, because बच्चों को painting and colors और ये सब बहुत मतलब interactive लगता है. या फिर story telling से. Story telling में भी
Right.
you can make your own stories or characters with the child can relate with. So आप एक animals की story के through आप उसको अपनी family में अगर वो कोई issue या कोई trauma के through जा रहा है, you can do that. So a lot of times stories help with a lot of children who are going through sexual abuse. Okay, आप उनको डायरेक्टली नहीं बोल सकते, बट इफ यू गिव एन एग्जांपल इन टर्म्स ऑफ एनिमल्स, कि आप एनिमल्स की कोई स्टोरी बता रहे, जैसे हम बचपन में मगरमच्छ और बंदर की स्टोरी सुनते थे, वैसी आप इसमें कुछ और कहानी आप उनको बना के सुना सकते हो जिसमें दे फील हैप्पी, सो देयर माइंड गेट्स डाइवर्टेड, बट अंदर ही अंदर देयर हीलिंग, राइट. अंदर ही अंदर देयर गेटिंग एन इनसाइट कि हाँ, वो व्हेन दैट पर्सन कैन ओवरकम द हर्ट और गेट दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, मैं भी ऐसी अंडरस्टैंडिंग आई कैन गेट. Then another thing could be positive affirmations or repeating the thing again and again. So, for example, you've had a traumatic experience, you repeat that, and this time after a point of repeating and repeating, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना कि एक ही जोक पे आप कितनी बार हंस सकते हो, तो सेम इज
Right.
एक ही बार आप एक नेगेटिव चीज को कितनी बार प्ले करके आप बुरा मान सकते हो. तो फॉर चिल्ड्रन ऑल्सो ना, लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स वट एवर दे हर्ट इज, क्योंकि बच्चे हैं उनमें उतना समझ नहीं है कि वो इतना ग्रज होल्ड करे अगेंस्ट समबडी. ग्रजेस वी लर्न एट अ लेटर स्टेज ऑफ लाइफ. So with children it's
Right.
very easier to use these techniques and actually help them. I use a lot of mandala because children usually like doing it. अब उनकी drawing आप ऐसे मतलब non judgmentally देखें तो obviously it's all are beautiful, all of them are
Right.
beautiful, they feel happy, they feel like showing it to you, and that really boosts up their self confidence. So it helps
Absolutely.
them their stress as well. And then of course music and art and dance, that those are another 3 4 things that you can do with them, with which they can overcome that. Because mindfulness में ना बहुत सारे जैसे bells हो गए, जैसे
Mm-hmm.
sensory activities होती है. So if some of you would be familiar with play therapy, उसमें क्या होता है, आप sensory system को काफी टच करते हैं, जैसे कि they can be familiar with that. So a lot of bells आप ring करो, या उनके लिए कुछ ऐसी artistic चीजें या कोई therapeutic चीजें रख दें, जैसे wind chimes होते हैं. So every time it gives a calming positive vibe. So that also works pretty well with the child. And positive reinforcement, of course, is another way you can go work with children.
Okay. I'm sure, Monica, I think she's really very well answered your query with respect to other techniques. Uh, Abhya, I always had this extra question that I have for you is that
Yes.
just for the clarity's sake, that what can you tell us about mindfulness effect in a client therapist relationship? Though I think a little bit you did mention earlier, but if you could put in a little more light on it.
Right. So client therapist relationship, as in you mean how does that benefit the client and therapist relationship? Okay.
Yes.
So definitely. So see, when we talk about a client and therapist relationship, the first and utmost importance is the rapport formation, which is step one. Right.
Right.
So while we are focusing on the rapport formation, अगर हम mindfulness की technique से जाएं, तो अगर हम खुद एक practitioner जो mindfulness practice करते हैं, only then would it be really effective, to be honest. You can't just learn it and not follow it थोड़ा, तो वो थोड़ा आता है. But if that's the case, then instead of you know focusing on what they're saying, the content of it, we will try to understand ki where are they coming from. Usually as therapists, we try to listen to these things and match it with the symptoms that the client is having. So अगर वो बोलेगा मेरे को sad mood हो रहा है continuously इतने टाइम से, तो हमारा first सवाल होता है कितने टाइम से हो रहा है, so that can we put them into the depression category or not. Can we, hello,
Other can
is it fine? Oh. uh I think all of you can put your questions if there are any. Think Mesba is just trying to come back on the chat. Must be some network issue. Okay. Yeah, hi.
Hi, sorry, I just got logged out of the system.
No worries. We're back.
The question that I asked you regarding the
Hmm.
client and therapist relationship with respect to
Right.
practicing mindfulness.
Yes, so I'll just start from the beginning. So I was just saying that when we talk about a client and therapist relationship, the first and foremost thing we do is rapport formation, correct?
Right.
So rapport formation, if you're a therapist, then the first thing that we ask the client is कि let's say they say हम एक sad mood में है continuously. So the first thought that comes to our mind is to ask the client is not कि क्यों है या कहाँ से, what are the thoughts that come.
Yeah.
The first thing we ask them is कि कब से हो रहा है. Usually it's
Right.
like कब से हो रहा है. So that can we put them into the category of being a depressed client or not? We just try to categorize them a lot. Instead, I personally, which also leads to a lot of wrong diagnosis, is what I felt, because a lot of clients who come to
Absolutely.
me come with so many wrong diagnoses and come after going through so much. मुझे लगता है कई बार वो पहले आ जाते तो better हो जाता. So this is one big flaw as things. So coming back to mindfulness ka thing, when you do that, you can have a really good rapport with them. So instead of us having to listen just to them, we can have a very good friendly relationship with them. So we do techniques like know yourself और द थ्री गुड थिंग्स. सो हम उसे बोलेंगे कि आप ना आज अपनी आंखें बंद करो और आप मुझे बताओ कि व्हाट वर द थ्री गुड थिंग्स दैट हैपेंड टू यू टुडे. Once he says, let's say the client says, oh today somebody said I have a really good shirt, or somebody said ki I am looking really nice, and they appreciated my work, or some of the other things like this. ये तीन अच्छी चीजें उसने बता दी. तो आप उसको पूछ सकते हो डिटेल में कि अच्छा सो हाउ डिड दैट मेक यू फील, व्हाट डज दैट टेल यू अबाउट योरसेल्फ, व्हाट डज इट टेल यू अबाउट द अदर पर्सन. So you know taking those few things later on when you go on the therapy, they say हाँ तो this happens, you can play with the distortions of the person. So जैसे वो कहता है कि यार मेरे को तो कोई अप्रिशिएट करता ही नहीं है, मेरे को तो कोई चीज इंटरेस्ट नहीं आती, अगर उसको इंटरेस्ट नहीं आती then how did he point out the three good things. So you can play with
Right.
the distortions there. And another thing would be the client therapist relationship is also benefited because uh, the client gets more open. एक चीज होती है नॉर्मल क्लाइंट से आपने जनरली वो बोल रहे हैं, आप सुन रहे हो, so you become a person who's just listening to them. Here you have a more proactive role. Here you can teach the client techniques on your own, which he when he goes back home can practice on their own. आपने उसको टेक्निक एक सिखा दी, अब ये नहीं है कि वो आप पे कंप्लीटली डिपेंडेंट है, he'll also be
True.
appreciative of you more. So our role as a therapist is to make them self-dependent and self-reliant. So
Absolutely.
instead of us constantly telling them कि आओ therapy में and आप हमारे साथ ये करो, they know the technique, now they can do that. And it'll also help
Right.
them heal faster so that you can focus on the other issues that the client is facing easily. So I think these would be a few things that, mindfulness as a client therapist relationship, it would make the bond stronger, make them do things on their own, appreciate you more, of course, and also focus on the really deeper issues, the underlying issues. They can help you then. Usually हम उनके underlying issues को निकालते हैं, बताते हैं. इस केस में जब वो खुद self aware होने लगेंगे तो धीरे धीरे they can come up to you and say कि हाँ, I have realized this. So let's say they've realized कि मैं बहुत judgmental हूँ, so they'll come up to you and say that to you. So then you can move forward to other therapies and teach them how to tackle that. So that would be it.
Lovely. Lovely. Very well explained. I think there's one more question, Zadya. I'm going to read it out to you.
Sure.
Um, so I think we have a lot of questions. So Neetu has asked that to increase focus in small kids, I mean younger children, how can one do? How can one use mindfulness?
Okay, so focus may. Okay, so see, one thing we need to understand, mindfulness is not a conventional therapy. So अगर आप कहोगे कि ये तो मतलब it's sounding good, but does it really work? So the answer is definitely it does work, because a lot of non-conventional therapies definitely work. Right. So to increase attention, we need to understand what are the distractions of the person. So let's say आप कह रहे हो कि distraction, जैसे इस केस में child के साथ काफी उसके issues आ रहे हैं attention में या concentration में. So when does that happen? What are the triggers? So let's say the child, for a lot of people, it's because the child is in an environment where they don't get sufficient quiet time or their own space. So उनका कोई safe space नहीं है, कोई time schedule नहीं बना हुआ है. So we need to focus on that as well. कि what are the triggers? So a lot of times दूसरे room में TV चल रहा है, the kid can hear that, and that is not wanting the child to be there. So we need to address that. In another case would be, once we deal with the triggers, then we can move on to other techniques like making a schedule for them. इन द सेंस कि आप उसे एक, हम माइंडफुलनेस टेक्निक में क्या करते हैं कि उनको आइज क्लोज करा के रिमेंबर कराते हैं कि आप अगर ये करोगे तो व्हाट आर द 3 or 5 एडवांटेजेस दैट यू गेन. So let's say the child self introspects, आंख बंद करके कि हाँ, I have a good day, I studied, now I'm getting, let's say 10 marks का क्वेश्चन है तो 8 out of 10. अच्छा, 8 out of 10 बोलते ही बच्चे के फेस पे स्माइल आ जाएगी, इवन इफ इट माइट नॉट बी अ चाइल्ड हु एवर scores 8 out of 10, but
Got
he'll be like,
right.
oh, I happy. Now once that happiness comes, then you can make them more committed to the thing. How? You can tell them, okay, so अब आपके पेरेंट्स को कैसा लग रहा है? Imagine how your parents are feeling. He'll be like, हाँ, वो तो बहुत खुश होंगे. They would want to buy me, let's say, something or the other, whatever the child likes. So once you're thinking about all of them, you're just making them more committed to the process of working hard, the process of focusing. So अब जब उनकी real life में distractions होंगे, they would tend not to focus on those things. Then another thing is, make them more engaged in a lot of hobbies that they have. So every child would have some or the other hobby. ऐसा there is no such child that I personally feel would not have any interest in anything. Okay. So you can, instead of एक play time जैसे मैं कहती हूँ, I personally feel where we go wrong with children is we say कि आप पढ़ो पहले and उसके बाद आपको एक play time मिलेगा, which is in my opinion very wrong, because play for them is equally important as the studies. So बच्चों का दिमाग मोस्टली इसलिए भटकता है बिकॉज वो हर समय जब वो पढ़ रहे होते हैं तो वो सोचते हैं कि कब मैं जाके मेरे को खेलने का टाइम मिलेगा, या कब मेरे को माई टाइम मिलेगा, कब मुझे उनके साथ करने को मिलेगा, राइट? बिकॉज स्कूल गोइंग किड्स हु डोंट स्टडी, मतलब जिनका हम कह रहे हैं, एड्रेस कर रहे हैं इशू, what happens is they see other adults in their house. तो adults तो सुबह ऑफिस से आके अब थक के काम करो, उनको तो पढ़ना नहीं है, बट फॉर अ चाइल्ड स्कूल के बाद भी उनको पढ़ना है. They constantly want that. So give them enough playtime, give them enough, attention from your side also. And then work with different modalities of, like I said, guided imagination आप use कर सकते हो, breath work जिसके बारे में हमने काफी बात करी, and then like I said, art and craft, जो भी उनको अच्छा लगता है उसमें just try to imbibe a few qualities of hard work, of being consistent in their work, improving their self awareness. All of these things you can just imbibe them with these techniques.
Right. I'm sure that is being answered. Um, That was the question for Neetu by Neetu. And Maitri has asked the question: does meditation help people have negative thoughts? People who have
Yes,
negative thought.
definitely.
I'm sure she's trying to say that.
Yes, absolutely, Maitri. I think that's a great question, but definitely meditation. Most people who join meditation is because they feel that they have a lot of negative thoughts. So mindfulness ka one of the main components or practices may comes meditation, and definitely it helps. Like I earlier shared with you, a lot of clients of mine who have negative thoughts or have continuous thoughts going through their mind, it definitely helps you with that. And negative thoughts को tackle करने के लिए you need to first understand that we are not trying to stop the thoughts. Thoughts का हम flow, जैसे काफी लोगों को लगता है ना कि हमें thoughts को रोकना है, उसी को हम meditation कहते हैं. In mindfulness, that's not what we believe. We believe that let the thoughts come, and as they keep flowing and how they make you uncomfortable. See, a lot of people would not even be comfortable addressing those thoughts as they're coming. तभी we try to distract ourselves. So let the thoughts flow, and even if you're feeling a little discomfort, let yourself feel that. See कि वो discomfort कहाँ से आ रहा है. We need to figure out what is the underlying, the root cause of that uh, discomfort. Only then can we find the solution to that. So I think I should have answered your question that it does help you
Yeah.
overcome your negative thoughts.
So I think there's one more question. Adya, I'm going to take it from Simi. How do you build consistency in practicing mindfulness as a therapist? That's one question. Do we tell our clients about the technique like you just mentioned? But we also know that we ourselves don't follow everything that we teach.
That
So
is
there are
true.
multiple questions. There are multiple
Absolutely,
questions.
absolutely. Right. So right. So yes, so I'll address the first question कि हाँ सही बात है, हम लोग as therapists also we cannot, because at the end of the day even we are humans and we also have some or the other limitations. So look, it's not about practicing everything that you are doing with your clients, because it's not even possible, because as a client, as a therapist you have hundreds of therapies and hundreds of techniques which you cannot do on your own. So mindfulness is something that I personally feel that you somewhat need to imbibe some of the techniques. Like I'm not a person who's too much into art or dance or things like that, so for me personally it cannot work, right? I would not be so interested. So that's why I said, depending on the severity and the case or the client who comes to you, you need to figure out what technique you need to use. But mindfulness, yes, you can use it as a therapist. Now when we come to how you can use it is, see, personally also we always have something or the other that we want to achieve or want to improve in ourselves. As we grow, हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ होता ही है. So उस समय
Right.
you see what modality you want to adopt through mindfulness. Now meditation might not work for a lot of us. So you could probably do goal setting, you could probably do self awareness, या आप मेडिटेशन टिपिकली मेडिटेशन करके ब्रेथ वर्क मत करो, आप आंखें खोल के, जैसे काफी एंजाइटी के जो क्लाइंट्स होते हैं, अगर आप उनको बोलो आंखें बंद करो और अपने थॉट्स पे फोकस करो, सो दे विल गेट जिटरी, उनको बस ये होगा कि कब मैं आंखें खोलूं. तो इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट आप कोई चीज पे फोकस करो, मे बी अ प्लांट. लाइक वन ऑफ माई व्हेन आई सजेस्टेड दिस टू माय क्लाइंट, ही इज लाइक, अच्छा तो मैं एक काम करता हूँ, मैं पौधा आगे रख लेता हूँ. So I was like, पौधा आगे रख लेता हूँ, but I was like, okay, maybe that works for him, right?
Right.
If that is working for him, then it is. You cannot say कि ये क्या कर रहे हो तुम. It's good. काफी लोगों के लिए maybe something else is working. Maybe those वो छोटे lights आते हैं जो fairy lights जो होते हैं.
Right.
Some people make a bundle of that and just hang it so that it's something pretty to look at. तो उनके thoughts थोड़ा calming effect देता है उनको. काफी लोग nature की तरफ देखते हैं. So people have different things that they can do. So yeah, definitely. So you can see what works with you. मेरे लिए पर्सनली एक गोल सेटिंग या एक सब कुछ थोड़ा ऑर्गेनाइज वे में रख के मेरे लिए इट वर्क. सो व्हाट आई डू इज आई मेक 3 columns, सी व्हाट द सिचुएशन इज, हाउ आई एम सीइंग इट ऑब्जेक्टिवली, एंड व्हाट इज द सॉल्यूशन टू दैट, कीपिंग इन माइंड व्हाट द रिसोर्सेज ऑफ माइन आर. Right, so that works. And another thing that works for me personally would be the three good things, like I said. जब भी मुझे ज्यादा stress हो रहा होता है कोई situation के बारे में, I think what are the 3 good things that I can come, especially when in terms of dealing with a person. So what are the 3 or 5 good things that I can think about this person when I'm in my sane head? I'm not that agitated or something. Then I think of that. Once I'm calm, or once I again get agitated, I can refer to that and then think, okay, fine. This is a way of dealing with it. And ऐसे बहुत सारे techniques हैं. That's what I'm saying. You just need to be creative of how you can be self-aware and it can work for you. So it's not like आपको सारी techniques practice करनी है just because you're a therapist.
I'm sure we can adapt to something that works for us,
Absolutely.
right? And let me check if we have any other questions. I think we are through with all the questions. And yes.
Great.
So, yeah. And yes, we have actually come to kind of end of the
Yeah,
session.
session.
And thank you so much, Adya, for giving us such a resourceful session. I'm sure everybody who's been online with us since the beginning or later on has also had a resourceful session when and the questions that they asked they have been answered. And thank you everybody who's been watching as well as thank you Adya. We are at the end of this episode. And yes, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow again because we are going to have this session series, Psych Talk for Psychologists, uh, till another 9 days. So we are having a 10-day straight web series, and I'm hoping to see all of you so that you all can benefit out of it. You've been a lovely audience. And again, once again, Adi, I'm going to thank you for your valuable time and your inputs. And tomorrow's session, the second episode, is going to be on behavioral therapy. So thank you. I also being a host. So I'm going to sign
Thank you so
off.
much, Ms. Farah.
Thank you.